This is the second video in a series of videos we're doing for the Travel Portal application, and in this video we're going to be doing a domestic booking request. So to start the process I will need to go up to the toolbar and I'm going to do an express request, and the table will refresh and give us the information that we need to put into the trip. So if I type in the information that I require, I'm going to travel on the 22nd. I can either type it in or I can select the manual checker, then create the requisition. The requisition number will appear up here, and then select next. I will then need to indicate the natural nature of travel, whether it's be business class or a mixture of business and private travel. Then I need to put the number of private days that I have in there. I'll just leave it at the default setting of business travel. And we'll select our trip reason to attend a conference. Any information I put in there will go onto the travel itinerary. Then I select next. Our travel activity checklist will appear. It has a couple of questions that we need to answer. The first being, do I have a pre-existing medical condition? And no, I don't. So I'll select that. And then the types of activities that I'll be doing while I'm undertaking the journey, which is doing a conference. So I then have to save those activities and then I'll close that window. The next screen that appears is the flight screen, and what I need to do here is just put in my information about flights. I'm going up to Sydney. Put in Sydney, and then search, and I need to select the destination I'm travelling to and add that to the requisition. And then select my flight times, and on the return journey, select the destination on my return journey, hit search, then I select, add that to the requisition, and the information will populate into there. Then select my return flight home. I select next. If I have some accommodation, I can type that in. Secure. And I select next. Car hire options if I need to, or any other transport that I want to put in there, I can. I can then go next. And the cost estimates page will come up, and I'll just scroll down a bit so we can see all the information we require. Then put in my information on the funding. You can see here that marries up with that information there. And this is only a budget. I do stress the word budget, because at this point in time we are not making any travel bookings. We might have some taxis. Also put that in there. And finally we might have some conference fees. Now if there's a cost collected that I need to add and it's not amongst the list that I want to put in there, I'll simply select that and then I'll put in some information about my cost collector. There's a random numbers that I'm putting in here. Doesn't bear relation to anything. Can I add that to my favourites? That will now appear down here and also appear as far as my favourites are concerned. I'll put in that amount, trip, and I'll do the calculation. Now if I'm part funding any part of this, and so the university was only putting in $250 here, and I was putting in $250 of my own, then I will put that in the self-funded selection that I do the calculation, and you can see here that that's now split across the two areas. I now select next. I then have to go through the checklist. So I've read and understood the travel policy. I've arranged for my cover of my workload whilst I'm travelling. I've read and understood the university credit card policy. I have approval from my supervisor to travel, and I acknowledge that it may be required to complete an EH&S risk assessment form. I then accept the travel policy, and you'll see here it's a self-approve. If it's not a self-approve, it'll actually then go to the next step where I need to have somebody approve my travel, which is normally a manager within my area with the HR delegation 2 and above. And then I submit for approval, confirms that I want to do this, and you'll see that now I have my first booking. It's now been approved, and I can go ahead and make that booking, which I will do in the next video, which is on the self-booking tool application.